Welcome, everybody, to Who's Your Band? I am Jeffrey Paul. I am joined by Sean Morton. How are you, Sean?
Jeffrey, it's a wonderful night. It's Oscar night. Thank God that we just started this podcast because I saw Billie Eilish singing and I went into a coma in 13 seconds listening to
Oh,
her.
oh
So
my God. Yeah, I don't get that whole thing. But you know what? I don't want to talk about the Oscars. I saw maybe one movie that was nominated, which I think was Oppenheimer. But I know nothing that's out. I haven't really gone to the movie since seeing Oppenheimer, so we could pass. The hard pass on the Oscars, and
I,
I don't want to get into this podcast.
yeah, me too.
Okay,
Seems like the dumbest movies make the most awards.
they do, right? And that voice that you hear is our guest for today. He is a former major league pitcher who played with the Cubs. He played with the Mets. He played with the Phillies. Played with the Colorado Rockies. Um, he is a great coach down in Met Baseball Fantasy Camp, where I met him this November, and we are happy to welcome him to the show. Welcome, Turk Wendell.
Well, thank you for having me, buddy.
Welcome,
Yeah.
Joe. We have something in common, Mr. Wendell. Normally, when we have a guest that Jeff books, and sometimes he books baseball players, and they're Mets, I normally have to berate them right off the top, but I can't do that. Can't do that with Turk. Do you want to know why? Because the first thing I saw when I looked up Mr. Wendell is that you're from Pittsfield, Massachusetts.
That's where I was born. I was raised in Dalton, which is right over the line. So
I spent many summer at my uncle's house in Pittsfield, Massachusetts, so I am very familiar with the area of
which
Pittsfield.
lake?
I'm
I
sorry?
know there's Fontusic. Which lake?
No, he was off of Dalton Division Road.
Dude, are you serious?
Yes.
Rena Bergner's turkey farm? I worked there growing up.
Really? See,
I,
there was a
my,
basketball court that was right down the road where I learned how to play basketball. So I am very familiar with Pittsfield and Dalton and Lenox. My godson still lives in Lee, Great Barrington. You name
oh,
that.
yeah. So wait a second. So the basketball court you're talking about is on Dalton Division Road, right?
Mm-hmm.
I know there used to be an old horse farm stables right there. It burned down when I was a kid. But so the little variety store that's around the corner on the Dalton side,
Mm-hmm.
my parents owned that for like 4 or 5 years. I literally, my parents' house is 100 yards from that store.
See, this is a small world, Jeffrey. It's a
I
small.
can't believe out of all the people, and especially Turk Wendell, who is in this weird place in Massachusetts, okay, that you have a connection with this guy.
Yeah, because my uncle lived there, moved, from Jersey up there, and he was a great psychologist in the area and social caseworker and, did a lot of good for troubled youth and stuff like that. So I would go every summer and spend the summers up in Pittsfield. I was actually just up in Lee last year, actually, to see my godson.
So that's a
Yeah,
perfect lead-in.
Can I set the record straight though?
Sure.
You guys are not below the Mason-Dixon line.
No, we're
Okay.
not.
It's Wendell.
Turk Wendell.
Yeah,
Okay.
we're Jersey and
Wen-
Staten Island trashed it.
Yeah.
We'll get
Yeah.
I never heard Wendell till I got drafted by the Braves and was down in Atlanta. What the hell is going on here? Wendell.
Okay. You know what? We're just gonna call you Turk. How's that?
That's good. We're
Okay.
good.
So let's pick it up from where you guys just left off. So you grew up in Massachusetts. What sports did you play in high school?
I played basketball, soccer, football, hockey.
Yeah.
As far as lettering, I was just in high school, baseball and soccer.
So in your high school, you played all those sports like on the high school team?
No. I said as far as lettering in high school, I just did baseball and soccer. The basketball coach asked me every year to come out for basketball, but it was during hunting season, so couldn't
You're
really
not doing that.
So
So
practiced every Saturday morning, and that was a no-go for me.
did you grow up as a Red Sox fan?
Oh hell yeah, still a Red Sox fan.
Still are to this day, really.
Oh yeah, I don't follow them as much as I used to. It seems like I watch more Met games now because I do a lot more stuff for the Mets. But I don't I wouldn't say I'm a fair weather fan either. But I mean, lately they've sucked. But it's just the way baseball is now. It's hard to follow teams because they change players so much. And I think
hard.
younger
playing though, when you're playing and actually being a fan of another team, isn't that like a kind of like a double-edged, not double-edged sword, but kind of
Oh,
like
it is. I mean, hell, I played for the Cubs and was a Red Sox fan. I had the worst of both worlds.
Well,
You
you
know?
you played for the Red Sox, and you were a Met. You root for the Red Sox, and you were a Met. I mean
Oh
that
yeah, those are the only games I ever wanted the Red Sox to lose when we were playing them.
yeah. I mean
And
that's gotta be
fortunately, we're even in our division. But I'll tell you a funny story if you want to get off cuff here for a
yeah,
second.
yeah, of course.
no
So
rules. No, you can
I
talk if you want.
when I was with the Phillies, I wore a Red Sox hat to the clubhouse one day. A bunch of guys were pissed off about it. I go, well, they're not even in our league. Jimmy Rollins wears the freaking Kansas City Old Negro Leagues hat. What's the difference? Kansas City Royals, you
You
know?
know, I'm
But
I'm I'm 100% down with that. Yeah, you're 100% right because I'm a Met fan. Okay, but I like the Yankees, and I'll hate every other team in the National League before I hate on the Yankees because they don't stand in my way.
yeah,
Right? Does that
but
make
so
sense?
oh, absolutely. So when I'm in Philly, we're playing the Red Sox, and I've pitched like something like 4 games in a row or something like that. And Larry Buzz, our manager, he said, "You're off today. You're not going to pitch today." Okay, great. So I still wear my spikes. I'm down the bullpen. Jose Mesa gets in a jam, and next, it's bases loaded, nobody out, and I'm in the game. Trot Nixon hits a grand slam. It's against the Red Sox. It was a makeup game. Trot
But this
Nixon
is
hits,
also your fifth day pitching in a row.
yeah. Trot Nixon hits a grand slam off me. We lose the game. Next day, I'm in the clubhouse or in the training room, and I'm doing arm exercises. And Bo walks in, and he goes, "How do you feel? How you feeling?" I said, "I feel all right. It sucks I give up grand slams. Fortunately, not the first one. Probably ain't gonna be the last one, unfortunately, either." And he looked at me and he goes, "Well, at least you didn't do it on purpose, right?" And I said, "What did you just say?" I go, "I may be a Red Sox fan, but those are the only those are the only games I wanted to lose when I'm playing against them. And if you knew anything about me and my competitiveness, I don't care who I'm playing against. I want to kick their ass. And I'd kick your ass right now if you weren't my manager." I was
Wow,
so
that's a crazy thing to just like to even say, even just like joking around. That's like a stupid thing to say.
yeah. I mean, like I said, if he wasn't my manager, I would have freaking punched him in the face.
All right, so going back to you a little bit, and we'll work into your major league career. So you got your letter, and you're probably the best guy on your high school baseball team, right?
Yeah, I guess I was.
Was anybody else notable who made it to the major leagues?
No, no.
Okay.
But I'll tell you something about that, though. From that one little town I grew up in, there's been 3 guys make it to the big leagues as players, 2 as general managers.
Do you remember who they are?
Oh, absolutely. They're my good friends.
Okay,
Jeff
who?
Reardon.
Oh, Jeff really actually met also.
Yeah, same high school. Matt White. He's 10 years behind me. He played a little bit. I felt bad for the poor kid. He made his major league debut with the Red Sox against the Yankees at Yankee Stadium and got waffled.
Wow.
He bounced around a little bit. I think he might have got like 3 months in the big leagues. Some of it was on the DL, but
Still
hey,
pretty good.
the big leagues, yeah. And I'm sure there's a guy that you guys both know, Jimmy Duquette.
Oh,
Former
sure.
Yankees.
Yeah. Yeah, he's on
Jimmy and I,
SNY
Jimmy
here.
and I, Jimmy and I grew up together. We played baseball together since we were just out of little league. And Danny Duquette is Jimmy's first cousin,
Of course.
and we're all from the same hometown, but also from the area of Pittsfield. Tommy Grief, GM of the Rangers.
Yeah, outfielder. He played for the Mets as well, I believe.
Mark Belanger went to high school with my dad, shortstop, long
Great
time
shots. Yeah,
outfield.
of course.
One of the greatest gloves to ever play
Yeah,
short.
of course. If there was
Yeah.
just a defensive Hall of Fame, Belanger would be in it.
Oh, hell yeah.
Oh no, he was
Yeah.
great. He was
Yeah.
great.
Peter Gammons used to joke around saying, "What's in the water out there?"
Well, for such a small town, you got like some notable guys.
Well, my high school is 7 towns combined. It's
Right.
600 kids, 7 towns combined.
In New York City, 600 kids is called junior year.
Classroom.
Yeah.
Homeroom.
Right. So you wound up going to Quinnipiac, right?
I did.
Yeah, that's a great school out in Connecticut. And you had like a real good college career there too. You broke some records, right?
Uh, I don't know what they were, but maybe.
I think I
Yes.
think from what I saw, it looked like you broke single season strikeouts. Um, is Quinnipiac? Is that? I know they're great in hockey. But
Now, yeah.
what about baseball? Is that D1?
And political polls
It
too.
was D2 when I went there, but it's D1. They're all D1 now.
And did you get drafted out of Quinnipiac? Because I also saw that
I
you
did.
played. You did, but
Yeah,
who did you get drafted by? Was it the Cubs?
Atlanta.
And you did not sign, or did you sign?
No, I signed, and then they traded me to the Cubs.
How did you wind up in the Cape Cod League? Because that's a pretty prestigious independent league. And
Um, I don't know how. I mean, how it all came to fruition, but they just invited me to play there, like they do a lot of college kids.
is it more of a showcase?
Yeah, or it's college prospects, and so they want it. Cape Cod League is like the epitome or the cream of the crop for
Right.
college kids to go for the summer, and they want to see how they all play against each other. Um, and it was a great experience. Unfortunately, my team in Falmouth absolutely sucked, but
But you did well in it.
yeah, it was really cool. Like I said, experience, and we sucked so bad that our manager finally came to the team and said, "Look, here's what we're going to do. There's going to be 3 pitchers each game. You're all going to go 3 innings." So I pitched. I remember it was in Hyannis against Hyannis, and I threw 3 perfect innings, and I got taken out against Robin Ventura, Monty Ferris. They're all #1 picks that next year.
Yeah, no, it's a. I don't know if you're aware of it, Sean, but it's a prestigious thing to be
Yeah.
asked to be on a team. So that's why I was like, for you to be in the Cape Cod League, you do well. You're gonna open up people's eyes, and you're gonna get a look, and someone's gonna invite you, even if you weren't drafted, someone's gonna grab you. But what was it like to be a kid? Like, you're a young man and you're hanging out in Cape Cod, and it's not a lot of money, right? It was just like a little bit of money.
It's no money. What are you kidding me? You can't
Oh,
get
there's
any
no.
money. No, you're college. You can't pay you because you'd
Oh,
be a professional.
oh man. So how do you make ends meet? Like how do you,
They host families. They stick you in a host family, and I had a job mowing lawns in a cemetery. It's a pretty quiet job.
yeah.
And I remember that Richie Lewis was the player that stayed with the family that I stayed with. He stayed there the year before and totaled their brand new car. And they told me, they said, don't even ask to drive our vehicle. I'm not going to do it. And I had to run to work every day, 7 miles to work and 7 miles home, and then play that night.
But you're in shape.
Yeah, running 14 miles a day. I think so.
Jeff, did you see that Roger Clemens pitched yesterday?
Yes, him and
Roy Oswalt.
Roy Oswald.
Yeah,
I
61 years old. He got rocked.
Yeah, he did too. Oswalt did too.
I love it. Never
Clemens
considered him a
Gilmore.
Yankee. Never considered him a Yankee. I don't know
That's
why.
taboo anyway. It's taboo being freaking from a Red Sox to the Yankee.
I never considered A-Rod a Yankee either. But
Yeah.
Johnny Damon, I accepted very strangely.
Wait, did you accept? Also, did you
What
accept
about-
Wade Boggs?
No.
What
No.
about Jacoby Ellsbury?
That's a little different. I'm talking about more of like when I was really like super, super, super into baseball. I've kind of trailed off a little bit. I'm not gonna lie and say that I watch every game now, but there was just something about seeing Clemens in a Yankee jersey that just brought out fucking rage inside of me. Boggs
What
too.
about-
True Red Sox fans, that's just taboo.
Oh, it's horrible. I'll tell you, man. And people know this. There's a lot of rivalries in sports. I mean, you got the Lakers and the Celtics. You got Yankees. Nothing beats the Yankee Red Sox
I
rivalry
don't think so.
in any sport.
No,
To this
that's
day,
why they
it-
get pissed at Red Sox Yankee games because they last 5 hours.
Oh my God. I can remember going to one, and I was sitting literally on top of the Yankee bullpen. So it was out in right field. And this is back when Steve Carsey was playing for the Yankees. And so there's one guy's first inning, he's yelling.
Carsey.
Oh, he was a fucking train wreck, but he was yelling, "Hey, Carsey!" And Carsey pops his head out, "Go fuck your mother!" And play. The whole thing's going nuts, Third inning, he's going, "Hey, Garcia." Dumbass peeks his head out again. I thought I told you to go fuck your mother. And the place is going nuts again. Now it's the fifth inning, and this guy won't stop. I mean, he's yelling Carsey for like 3 minutes straight, and then he yells out, "What the fuck do you want?" He goes, "Don't worry about fucking your mother, because I just fucked your mother." And Carsey literally tried to come into the friggin' section that we were in, and people had to hold back. They are brutal fans up there.
Oh yeah.
Who were some of the notable Yankees that went to the Red Sox? The other way.
That's a good question, Jeff.
Yeah, I don't think anybody pays attention to that as much.
Not that I can really think of.
I can't really think of many either.
I know there was one potential that years ago, Bernie Williams, when he was a free agent, I think the Red Sox were on the verge of signing him before the Yankees came in and made the better offer, or at least they matched the offer.
Another guy, Andrew Miller, he played for the Yankees and the Red Sox.
Yeah, he also bounced around. He played for Baltimore, and he played. Was he like a Marlin as well? He was like a big trade. He was Cleveland,
I think
St.
the
Louis.
Yankees actually gave him a big $50 million deal or something.
They did, and they wound up trading him for Clint Frazier, who then, when they were looking to move, I think in the off season, they were trying to get Garrett Cole from Pittsburgh, and Pittsburgh wanted Clint Frazier, and the Yankees were like, no, we can't give up Clint Frazier in this deal, and then they wound up signing him to like a $36 million a year contract anyway. Yeah. So what was it like, Turk, the first time you went into a major league clubhouse and played a major league game? Like, how overwhelming is that?
It was awesome. I mean, funny story before I get to my big league, walking in as a big leaguer. The very first major league field I ever stepped foot on, believe it or not, was Yankee Stadium.
Oh my God. I mean, that's like as big as it gets.
I had a tryout there before the draft, like a week and a half or so before the draft. And I walked out on the field and I'm looking around and I'm going, this is no big deal. This is the big leagues. It didn't faze me at all.
Are you kidding?
No, but 3 or 4 days later, I got to go play at Fenway in the All New England All-Star game, or All New England game, where D1 plays D2 and D3. And I walked out on there and my freaking heart was coming out of my chest.
It's like I was down at Met Fantasy Camp in November, and to play like on the field with them when I'm watching preseason games now was like a big deal for me. That's Port St. Lucie.
Yeah.
I mean, you're walking into Yankee Stadium, you're gonna go on that like to go on that mound and just think about the history of it. I mean,
that didn't even faze me. I didn't think twice about it.
How do you block it out?
I didn't think once about it.
How did you block it out though?
I just out there to show what I could do and do my thing. I wasn't focused on anything else.
So I said there's 4 places on earth that when you walked into, you not only just felt the history, but you actually felt like, and I hate saying this word, but you felt the ghosts, and it was the old Yankee Stadium. It's definitely Fenway Park.
Everyone says that.
The Ryman Auditorium in Nashville, which was the old Grand Ole Opry, and then the Friars Club, which was in New York City. But even as a Yankee fan, going into Fenway, you would still feel just this amazing history about it. Like if you separate the whole rivalry aspect of it, like I'm dying to get out to Chicago. I'm dying to go to Wrigley. I've never been. I'm dying to go to Wrigley. Like I've been to, I've been to a bunch of parks across. Like the new parks mean nothing to me anymore. Like the new Yankee Stadium is disgusting. It's trash. I hate it. It's like fucking Disney World. I prefer Citi Field over the new Yankee Stadium.
The thing that sucks about the new stadiums, they're beautiful, but there's 500 things to do other than sit in your ass and fucking seat.
That's right.
That's all I want to do.
Exactly right.
A baseball game. I want to sit down. I want to have a hot dog or 9. I want to have a beer or 9 and just watch a game and get fucked up and have a good time and get sunburned because I won't put sunscreen on. I don't want to shop. I don't want to go to a Best Buy inside a fucking Yankee Stadium and pick out a DVD. I don't want to do that shit. It's too corporate.
Or play wiffle ball with your kids in center field. That's for after the game.
Right.
So Turk, you don't think it's a good idea to have like a pool in the outfield?
Ugh.
I mean, if you want to hang out or something like that as a fan and watch the game and sit in the water, knock your socks off. But I mean, I don't know. It's just not many people like to just sit and watch the game. I mean, I think being just a traditionalist and pure fan of the game is going by the wayside.
Oh, I couldn't agree with you
I
more.
don't give a shit how far you hit the ball, how hard you hit the ball, or what your launch angle was, or how fast you threw it, or what your spin rate was. Did you get a hit? Did you get the guy out? Did you throw a strike? I mean, isn't that really what matters?
Do you think we're pussifying pitchers in baseball now?
Pussifying pitchers, you're pussifying the whole game.
Well, let me
You
ask.
can't slide into second. You can't slide into home. You know what's next? They're going to do 2 bags at first.
Well, let me ask you this then.
Softball?
Four changes in Major League Baseball since you played. Tell me your thoughts on these. Tell me what you think about the pitch clock, the ghost runner,
Sucks.
the size of the bags.
Sucks. I've never heard anybody get hurt because the bag was 3 inches too small.
They had to do that, and throwing, only 3 throws over to first, and then you give the guy.
Absolutely ridiculous. I mean, let's just see how much more offense we can create in the game.
The thing they're trying to do is speed up the game, or they're trying to appeal to the person that's not going to even fucking watch the game. So I hate the pitch clock. But as a pitcher, how does it affect you?
Well, you're taking another element out of the pitcher's arsenal by, maybe showing different moves, holding the ball, throwing over a couple times. I remember in AAA when I was with the Braves, we were playing Columbus Clippers, the Yankees. I threw over to first base 11 times in a row. The place was booing the shit out of me. The 12th time I picked that bastard off.
You know what I think it is? I really think I think it's a sign of the times that we're living in. I think that people need instant gratification because
100%.
Because they have absolutely no attention span. When what we should be doing is teaching people how to slow down and how to look at the nuances of a game. Just like you said, you can 11 pickoff attempts, and the 12th time you get the guy. That's part of the game. And if you're the best 4 hours of your life to sit outside at a baseball game and watch it, then you shouldn't belong watching.
Well, they say they want to create more stolen bases. Well, fucking draft guys that can run fast. Instead of these meatheads that just hit the ball over the fence.
Well, that's all they care about. They care about the long ball.
Here's and I've said this since I played the game when they used to talk to us in spring training about you relievers only have a certain amount of time to come in the ball game. You want to speed up the game? There's one simple solution.
Keep the batter in the box.
Call the strike that's in the rule book a strike from your armpits to your kneecaps.
100%.
Guys will swing back, or they're gonna strike out, and they're gonna go sit their ass down and go to the next guy. I mean, how that's gonna keep starting pitchers in the game longer too. Because guys, they're not just gonna sit there and wait for that ball on a freaking little teacup, or they're not gonna swing and it's ball 4. I just don't understand where along the lines an umpire said I'm not calling that a strike anymore.
Do you think it'll help when they eventually have I think they're gonna have like the computer strike zone?
Automatic strike zone?
Yeah.
But still, that's not even the strike that's in the rule book.
The strike in the rule book was like the chest to the knees, right?
It says your armpits to your kneecaps.
Right.
And I actually I've been to some AAA games here in Des Moines. They have a thing where if the catcher, the batter, or even the pitcher can just tap their hat, and that they can challenge the call. And it's almost, it literally takes 3 to 5 seconds. And if they overturn it, and you get 3 a game. It's challenge. And if you lose it, then you can't challenge anymore.
I think what also Major League Baseball is doing is taking away the cerebral part of the game, the gamesmanship part of the game.
The game within the game.
Exactly.
It's not a fast-paced game like basketball is, where basketball is constantly changing every 3 seconds.
Well, it's not a timed game.
NBA is like 2-on-2. It's not even fun to watch that anymore.
There's no defense. It's all about the 3-point.
Look at the All-Star game this year.
That was a joke.
That was it, 219 to 197 or some shit?
Well, let me ask you, if Jordan would have been in his era, You think he would have let 200, even in an All-Star game, you think he would have allowed 200 points to be scored on him?
I would hope not.
Of
No.
course not. Of course not. Jordan was the most competitive athlete I've probably ever seen. And in a preseason game, the guy went all out, played defense. No. What did you think of again the Ghost Runner? To me, that's the most egregious of all these things
Well,
because they don't use it in the playoffs.
no, but here's the thing that's stupid to me. I, as a reliever, I'm going to be in the game probably in a situation like that in an extra inning game. There's a guy on second, and I go in and I get a ground ball to second base, get the guy out. Next guy
Moves
hits a
over,
fly ball, he's out. That
scores.
runner scores. Next guy, get him out. However, I get him out. Well, now I'm on the hook for the loss. I get the loss, and I went out there and did my job. Why wouldn't it be just the team loss? Why does it have to be tacked to the pitcher? The runner's not an earned run, yet you still get nailed with a loss.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. That's the one that I just can't get past. It does, and they obviously they don't use it in the playoffs, so I don't think they're committed to the rule. And the whole reason why they had it was during COVID when you were outside anyway. Okay, so it doesn't make any sense. I would love to see them get rid of that
The
one.
whole thing is just dumb. I mean, why are we trying to reinvent the wheel here? You're trying to fix a game that's not broken. And, it kind of all started with Buster Posey breaking his leg. If you ask any catcher,
That's right.
why did Buster Posey break his leg? Because Buster Posey didn't block the plate the proper way. He broke his own leg. And even the second base thing now, too. I forget the guy for the Mets that broke his leg.
Ruben
Dude,
Tejada.
it's the playoffs, right? The playoffs. You know this guy is barreling down on you to break up too. Why would you turn your back on the runner?
I guess like Dodger fans were right because it was the Dodgers.
Yeah, it was
Utley
Chase Utley.
Right. Yeah, because I always associate Utley with the Phillies. Yeah, but Utley played the game. He hated by Met fans.
He
But
played hard.
I was going to say,
he's a great guy too. He's a hard worker, great competitor. And anybody, if that's not the playoffs right there, never hear about it.
well, if he was a Met, I also think he would have been revered.
Oh yeah.
I think Met fans would have loved him. What's the best part of being a major leaguer, and what's the worst part that fans don't see or really know about?
The best part for me was being able to live my dream every single day. To, looking back on it now, that I had a dream of doing that when I was 3 years old, and actually to accomplish that. And then to find out in the history of Major League Baseball, now since I think 2001, they've inaugurated a bunch of Negro League players to be classified as big leaguers too. There's less than 23,000 people to ever play Major League Baseball.
And you're one of them.
Yeah. And take that up a notch. There's just been just like a tiny bit over 1,800 players that of this 23,000 that played 10 years or more. And I'm going, fuck, I wasn't even that good. How did that happen?
I remember, I'm a Met fan, and I remember when you got traded over here. I remember being pretty happy because I remember you being a good relief pitcher. And I think if you're on the Mets, your career, if you took young you and put you on the Mets today, you'd be a standout today too. What's the worst part about being a major league player that people don't know about? Because I mean, it looks fantastic. I would love to, but there's got to be something that kind of rubs people the wrong way, that plays the wrong way.
I think the toughest thing is the toll it takes on your family. If you have a family, and the fact that it's not a game anymore. It's a business. Sure. And that really sucks. I mean, it killed me when I got traded to the Phillies. Dude, I took $4 million less to stay with the Mets.
And then
they traded me halfway through my first year of a 3-year contract.
Okay, so I was going to ask you that down the road. First of all, again, what's it like to be traded then? And
once I got to the big game, because I got traded from the Braves to the Cubs, and then the Cubs. I mean, of course, I didn't know any better. I didn't know any other organization in the big leagues because I only got to AAA with the Braves. But when I got to the big leagues with the Cubs, I didn't want to play for any other team. I wanted to play for one team, and that was it. But out of my hands, and it just, I always said, I don't know if you guys understand how the baseball gods work, but you never say stuff out loud because the baseball gods are always listening. And I used to say all the time, I never want to play in New York because I freaking hate the Yankees and I don't like big cities. It was never anything against the Mets. I just didn't like big cities. Well, I get traded to the Mets, and it was the best thing that ever happened in my career. The shitty thing about getting traded from the Mets to the Phillies, not only because my loyalty to the Mets by staying for a lot less money, we were playing the Phillies in New York at the time. So I just went from one clubhouse to the next.
Oh, that must have been weird, right?
It was like I was in a movie and I was the lead character. It was the strangest thing. And of course, I pitched the next day and gave up a walk-off dinger to Ventura.
So you mentioned that it takes a toll on your family. So when you get traded like that, I mean, is it like, I can only know from what I read about. I never played in the major leagues or anything, but do you have to uproot your family? The kids got to go to different school. Is it all that involved?
Well, that's the thing that sucked for me is my now ex-wife, and I'm happily divorced, by the way. She never lived with me during the season, and that was my biggest beef. I mean, my kids weren't even in school at the time yet, and I'm going, why can't you come and live with me? Everyone else's families live with them. Our kids aren't even in school. And she, I'd sometimes go 5-6 weeks without seeing my kids. She'd meet me in Arizona or somewhere else where it was nice. And very rarely did she come to New York. But when you get traded or you get sent down to the minor leagues, you have 72 hours to report to the other team. So, in the minor leagues, on the other hand, they could call you up right now and say, hey, you got traded to the Orioles and your plane leaves in 2 hours. Or you got sent up or you get sent down and your plane leaves immediately, and you have to just go. You're a piece of meat. And say you're on the road. Well, all your shit's back where your home field is. You got to figure out how to get all that yourself.
Really, there's not a clubhouse. There's no one in the team that helps you out with that in the organization.
Pay them to do it.
You pay them to do it. I thought that was someone's job.
You would. Because who's just going to do it for nothing?
Because I watched Moneyball. And it just seems like it's just very, very easy, right? It's like, remember when Pena gets traded, or Giambi got traded in. It's like, okay, so and so will help you out, and they'll take care of all your stuff. And it just seems like all you do is take your shit that you have on you, and you go to the airport.
I'm going to turn my lights on in here. Here's something people don't know about. In baseball, we have to pay tax in every city we play in. It's called the entertainment tax. Wow. Yeah. In New York, you pay a city tax. You pay a borough tax. You pay a federal tax.
You pay a state tax.
You pay your agent like 5%. You pay the clubhouse people. You have to rent an apartment, which is average $3,000 a month. It's crazy. I mean, when it's all cut up.
Yeah, that's, I think, the main reason why Mike Hampton didn't re-sign with the Mets, right? Do you remember that?
Well, it's a big reason, but I mean, Colorado has fairly high taxes too, but that's why you see a lot of high-paid, really super rich athletes or really rich people live in Florida, Texas, Nevada. I think there's about 13 or 15 states with no state tax. I mean, you're going to save a ton of money. I don't understand why guys would want to sign for a California team.
How much does that affect free agency?
Well, that's what I said. There's a lot of guys that don't want to play for a team in California just because of that.
Yeah, but this off season, everybody went to California for ridiculous money too.
Yeah, what's Ohtani gonna? That's probably what he's gonna do when he's owed that $680 million. He's gonna jump ship and say, "See ya, I ain't going back to California."
There's no way. There's no way. Him, Yamamoto, even like guys like Teoscar Hernandez. I was a little surprised to see him sign with the Dodgers. I thought there were other teams that
could have used a guy like that. You got a good core team there, with Betts and Freeman. They want to win a World Series, so that's the ultimate goal.
So, do you think maybe teams would sign with a California team if they're overpaid? Would he have gotten that kind of money, with another organization?
Well, maybe they overpaid him because of the taxes. I don't know.
That's why I was going with that. You played for four major league teams, right? You played in major league cities. You played in Chicago, New York, Philly, and I guess Colorado's stadium is outside of Denver. Which had the best fans? And what was you said New York you loved. How did you what did you think about Colorado, especially as a pitcher?
Well, it's kind of funny you ask that because I go from playing in Chicago, great fans know the game. New York, great fans too and know the game. Philly, okay fans, kind of brutal. Colorado, great fans, don't give a shit. So I went from playing in these high market places that, especially in Philly. I mean, when you play for big cities like the Cubs, the Mets, the Phillies, it really pushes you to be the best player you can every day and work as hard as you can because you don't want to let the team down or the fans down, let alone yourself down.
Does the fans really matter to the players?
Yeah. Dude, you ask how many guys, how much fun was it playing during COVID with no fans? It sucks. Going to Montreal playing there with 800 people in the stands sucked. We used to tell kids, don't worry, you're all good at ball. Just relax. But so I go from playing in those three big cities to Colorado. Great place to live. Great place to watch a game. But the fans, it's a social event. They didn't care if the team wins or loses. Just go hang out. Yeah, whatever. That took a lot out of me as a player. A lot of drive to just keep pushing myself every single day.
Totally different question, but it just popped into my head. What is it like being in Iowa right now with this whole Caitlin Clark? Just phenomenal.
Dude, the chick, unbelievable.
She really is. I mean, she's from another fucking planet.
I mean, I watched a bunch of the games. I listened to it when I was working on the farm today on the radio. But how do you guard someone that shoots freaking half court shots?
And just
it's stupid.
And she's flawless. She's absolutely flawless as a shooter.
Well, she scored 4 points today in the first half, and she ended the game with like 38 points.
Yeah, did they come back and win?
Yeah.
I watched the first quarter. They were playing, I think, Nebraska.
Yeah.
I mean, Nebraska's good too.
Big buzz around here. I know she's already said she's going to go in the NBA draft, WNBA draft. Yeah. I kind of wish she would have waited till after the season because she could play for another year and absolutely obliterate the record. But if they don't win a championship,
what does it mean?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, I think she would want to just say, "Hey, I'm going to go back and try to win a title." Because a lot of people go, she ain't going to be shit unless she wins a championship. She's the real deal.
Oh yeah, I think she's going to bring the WNBA to a different level. They'll make them at least people be.
Nobody's going to hear about it anymore.
You don't think so? You don't think there'll be a little bit of it? Listen, it's a Sunday, and before I went to the gym or anything today, I put on Channel 2 so I can watch a little bit of Iowa because I want to see Caitlin Clark. There are certain athletes that kind of transcend sports, like you kind of gravitate, you want to see them. I think she may be able to do that. I don't think the WNBA is ever going to be anything, but I do think some eyes will be on it.
Someone would have to pay me a lot of money to sit now and watch a freaking WNBA game.
You know what's cool about her though is like she's that role model that little girls need too. Like, yeah, I get the
right.
I get the Barbie phenomenon with all the shit that's out there with the movie and stuff like that. But like, when you see these young little girls, dozens and dozens every game with jerseys and shirts and pictures, just trying to get autographs and stuff, that's what's great for sports. No matter if it's basketball or football. I mean, this is a girl who's literally inspiring a whole other generation to pick up a basketball.
Yeah, I mean, she really is, and it's probably going to be that way for at least a few more years.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, the buzz around Iowa anyway.
Now I'm going to ask you a question that Jeff won't ask because Jeff asks all the factual questions, and I want to get the dirty shit. So when you were in the major leagues, was there ever a time when you were single or were you married the whole time?
I was single.
Okay. How much gash does a major league baseball player get?
As much as you want, probably.
That's kind of what I thought. All right.
I mean, that's what was confusing to me about the whole Trevor Bauer thing. I'm like, dude, why you got chicks throwing themselves at you? I don't understand that, or a lot of that stuff that happens with some of these guys. Like, I mean, yeah, you got to be smart about some of the chicks here. I mean, I don't know where guys go to pick up chicks and stuff, but
Well, it's like freaking Tiger Woods with a goddamn Perkins waitress. Like you're
yeah.
you're the greatest. You're
Well,
probably five.
wait, there's something about Perkins waitress because there was also Rick Pitino with a Perkins waitress, right?
Sorry guys, I gotta
Yeah.
go. I'm going to Perkins.
Yeah. I interviewed Lenny Dykstra, and we asked him the similar question, and he said the best city, to pick up chicks was Pittsburgh. And I asked him why. He said because they're easy. But it seems like no matter what city you would go to,
Oh
you're,
yeah.
yeah,
Playing in Chicago. Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
that.
I dig that. See, I asked the good questions. I don't want to hear about your fucking pitch count when you were in high school. I want to know if you were drowning in freaking and pussy when you were freaking playing. That's
I'll
all.
tell you, here you want to hear a funny story?
Yeah.
So
Let's hear it.
I get sent down from single A or from double A to single A to Durham Bulls
Yeah,
Mhm.
Raleigh, right?
right after the movie came out. You want to talk about a place to play. You got Chapel Hill and Raleigh there and Duke. I mean, you talk about freaking just college chicks everywhere. So
Sean,
anyway,
the next time you meet him, you got to smell his fingers in.
I would hope he washed his hands in the last 40 fucking years,
I don't
asshole.
know.
yeah,
Yes,
so
those are
anyway,
legendary fingers.
I I I get down to Durham and they say, "Hey, we're having this end of the year team dinner," because I got sent down there for the playoffs. We're having a team dinner tonight, and you're supposed to bring somebody. And I'm like, "Shit, I just got here. I don't have to bring anybody. I don't know anybody here." So anyway, I'm starting that night, and I go out, pitch the inning, or the inning ended, and I go out to get on the mound. I'm the first person on the field, but the catcher made the last out, so I'm just sitting there. I actually squatted on the mound, and I look up behind home plate, and there's this smoking hot chick behind home plate. So I go out, pitch the inning, and then I go in the dugout, and I get the usher's attention, and he comes over, and I'm like, "Hey, there's a girl over there behind home plate," and I point her out to her. I go, "See if she'll go to the team dinner with me after the game." He goes, "Seriously?" I said, "Yeah." So I go back out, pitch the next inning. He comes over. She said she would go with you, but, and I said, "Don't tell her that. I got to focus on the game. Just tell her I'll meet her after the game." Okay. Long story, even longer. I pitched the whole game. We win. We're high fiving on the field, and the little trail, goes out towards second base. I turn around and she's standing at home plate. And I'm going, "Holy shit, what the fuck is going on here? Why is she on the field?" And she was Miss USA, runner up to Miss Universe.
Oh, no way.
Yeah,
You're Jerry Seinfeld.
runner up to Miss Universe 1989. Look her up, Gresham Polhemus. Anyway,
Name
so
drops her as well. Fucking love this dude.
yeah, so we date. She goes to the dinner with me. Just awesome chick, hit it off. She's from Texas. She likes to hunt. She's beautiful, obviously. I mean, what's not to love, right? So we kind of date on and off, and then the next year I go to big league spring training. She comes down for a couple weeks, so it's like I'm a big leaguer, and now I got a big league piece of ass with me too, right? And all the guys are like, "Dude, who's that chick?" So anyway, I end up getting traded to the. We didn't really see a whole lot of each other that next summer, and I get traded to the Cubs. Well, it's January, and she lives outside of Dallas in Arlington, and we're having a rookie training seminar in Dallas for 3 days. So I call her up. I'm like, "Hey, I'm coming to Dallas." She's like, "Oh, you should come out for a couple days early. We can hang out and this." Great, So she picked me up at the airport. I know this is a long story, but it's got a good ending.
That's good.
So we go to dinner and we're hanging out. We're back at her house, and she's just acting kind of weird. So finally, I said, like, "What's up?" "Well, I just kind of started seeing this other guy, and I just don't feel comfortable with you staying here." "What the fuck? Why did you invite me to come out a couple days earlier?" So one of my buddies actually lives in Duncanville, Texas, that I played with. So I called him up. He came and got me, and I hung out with him for a couple days before I had to go to the rookie seminar. Well, spring training starts, and there's kind of a big hype because I just got traded to the Cubs, and it looks like I'm going to make the rotation, the fifth guy in the rotation. Well, she calls me up and says, "Hey, I'm in Phoenix. Would love to see you." I'm like, "Oh, great, awesome." So she comes to town. I never forget. We went to Olive Garden.
That's like,
Yeah, got some breadsticks, some salad, and we're talking, and she starts saying, "I think you're the guy for me. I could see myself spending the rest of my life with you." And I'm going, "Whoa, wait a second here. Pump the brakes a little bit." I mean, we're not like serious by any means, and maybe if we spent more time together, who knows? But anyway, we have dinner. We go back to my place, and next morning I bring her to the airport, and I go to practice. I'm the last pitcher cut, demoted to AAA. So we talk on the phone that night, talked for like 45 minutes, and she was great. She's like, "Oh, don't worry about it. You'll be in the big leagues for too long, blah, 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 blah." Never heard from her again.
but here's the moral of the story, Jeff. He went back to the Olive Garden and he started dating a waitress named Eleanor. Even though she had IBS, she was a good fucking leg. That's the whole purpose of the story.
Moral of the story is go to Perkins.
Go Perkins.
Yeah. See what happens at Olive Garden? They don't treat you like family. They don't. I'm telling you.
Life's a little bit different on the road for comedians, right, Sean?
Yeah. Yeah, it's a little different. Yeah, a little different than that. Yeah, but no Miss Americas, but Jeff had the third runner-up for Miss Grantville, Pennsylvania, come up to his show on Friday night, so that was good.
I did have that going for me.
She was a real peach, I bet. She have all her teeth?
Most of them, yeah. She had some teeth. Yeah, some are there, some weren't. Yeah.
We can't all be dating Miss America here. Freaking Turk Wendell.
It looks good on the resume, right?
Wendell, not Wendell. It's Wendell. Don't you listen?
I do. Turk, who were some of your favorite teammates?
Well, with the Braves, it was Steve Avery, David Need, Mark Wohlers. With the Cubs, Terry Adams, Sandberg. I got along with pretty much everybody. Kent Bottenfield, a bunch of the relievers in the bullpen, Larry Cassian. Then with the Mets, I was Rick Reed, Rick White, Glendon Rush. We had a really cool, close-knit group of guys with the Mets. And then with the Phillies, it was Real Cormier, who's since passed away, Jim Thome, Brandon Duckworth. Then with the Rockies, it was Todd Helton, pretty much Larry Walker.
Were there any teammates that annoyed you? Does everybody kind of get along in the clubhouse?
Not always, no. I mean, there was a few times it seemed like there was a lot more high tension stuff in the Cubs. And
really? See, I thought you were going to go because you were on the 99 Mets.
Yeah.
Okay. And that was the year that the Mets played. They were eliminated by the Braves in the league. Right. And
the Ricky Henderson playing cards.
Yeah. How much of that is accurate, and how much is that and if it is, how much does it turn off the other players?
It's a funny story too. But just getting back to on the Cubs, when we were always out of it by July, so everyone points fingers and you start playing for yourself, basically. Right. So that's why there was a lot of incidences. I'll just leave it at that with the Cubs. It's in-house shit that happened. But with the the Mets, yeah, and the NLCS, Henderson and Bonilla are up in the clubhouse playing cards like it's a fucking spring training game. And it pissed off everybody. And it pissed off Phillips, it pissed off Valentine, and I mean, it pissed off Jay Payton, who's a rookie. And I mean, Ricky Henderson was a good player in his day, and he was still good when he wanted to play. But those days were pretty far and few between. And the funny part of the whole story is twofold too. So he was on the team for just a short spell, and I don't know when they released him, in early April maybe of 2000.
Who's that?
Ricky Henderson.
Was he released or was he? I think he was released and he signed right away with the team.
Yeah.
And I thought there might have been an incident, that they kind of kept quiet and pushed him off the team.
Well, so we go to the World Series that year. They didn't give
Right.
him a ring. Didn't give him a ring.
They didn't.
If you play one day, you're supposed to get a ring. So now fast forward, that was 2000. 2001, Traxel was a good buddy of mine, played with the Cubs and played with him in AAA too here in Des Moines.
Great guy.
So Trax is with him. Trax from Fantasy Camp.
Right.
Trax is not doing well at all. He's in New York and he's struggling big time. And we're playing the Padres. And I come around the corner. Bobby Valentine's office is, right there as you walk out the door of the clubhouse. And Trax comes walking out of his office. And just his eyes are this big. And I thought he got released because he'd been pitching so terribly. And I'm like, Scoob, Steve, you all right? And he looked at me, just no emotion on his face at all. And he goes, they told me I'm supposed to drill Henderson on the first pitch of the game. I go, fuck yeah. So, and of course, he didn't know what this history was there. And word spread around the clubhouse pretty quick that what was supposed to happen. And Trax missed him twice. Proceeded to walk him and give up, I think, three or so runs in the first inning. And Trax came in, never forget, he comes and sits next to me on the bench because everyone was, even though bullpen was empty, everyone was sitting on the bench because we didn't know, what might happen. But I'm sure Ricky probably had no freaking clue anyway. But Trax sits next to me and Bobby V comes walking by and never looks at either one of us. It just goes, you better not fucking miss him next time. Next inning, Trax faces him again. Ricky took him deep.
No.
Yeah.
How hard is it to hit a guy? Is it hard?
It's hard when they know you're trying to hit them because it's like playing fucking dodgeball. But yeah, I don't think it's that hard when the guy has no clue. But they sent Trax to AAA the next day.
Well, let me ask you this because you reminded me of something. 2000 World Series. Piazza, Clemens.
We should have whooped their ass.
I'm just going to ask you that. I mean, I loved Piazza. As a player, I loved the guy.
Yeah, I did too. Actually,
he's a metal guy. But should he have gone harder after Clemens?
I think yes, but I think for our team, no. But to save face, definitely. But and the bottom line is, dude, if that was me and that was Jeter up to bat, I'd have been kicked out of the game. So why the hell wasn't he kicked out of the game? I mean, granted, he's Roger Clemens. He's freaking phenomenal. He's an unbelievable competitor. He's one of the best that ever played. But for him to say he thought it was the ball, why don't you just go, you know what? I freaking lost my head. I had no idea what the hell was going on. I just threw the bat.
Nobody bought that excuse, right?
It was just dumb. I mean, even now he still stands by that, I guess. But
sometimes you get a lie. You just got to dig in so deep, and that's what I think is the case with that.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, that was.
I'm going to ask a question about my tried and true love of my life, the New York Yankees. Professional opinion: Don Mattingly, does he belong in the Hall of Fame?
I think so.
Well, tough argument. That brings us down the road here. I
think John Olerud belongs in the Hall of Fame.
I love John Olerud. We were just talking about him the other day as a guy who it was Harris Stanton last night, Sean. We were doing a show, and Harris's his uncle is Leroy Stanton, who was a longtime ball player, and he's a comedian. And we were saying, like, the Mount Rushmore of the Blue Jays. I was like, I think Olerud would maybe take some consideration on something like that. But let me name a couple of guys and tell me what your opinions of them are. Are they Hall of Fame worthy? Start with Jeff Kent. Should he be in the Hall of Fame?
Based on the statistics, yes. But no one liked him because he was just a red ass all the time.
So who cares? I mean,
Right. And then they said Ty Cobb was a douche too. There was like
right,
two people at his funeral, and one guy just showed up to make sure he was dead.
um, Bill Mazeroski, Rye Sandberg, Joe Morgan. These are three second basemen that come to mind.
Oh
Kent's
yeah,
numbers destroy all of them.
yeah.
You know, um,
But it's
you
a
guys,
popularity contest sometimes.
it's a what?
Popularity.
Yes. Yeah, I don't think that should be it. I mean, so Pete Rose should be in the Hall
No,
of Fame, but not in the Hall of Fame.
I'm going to tell you why. A lot of
Yes,
people don't know this. Ever since the Black Sox scandal, what was it, 1906, 1908?
1919, I thought it was.
Well, whatever it was, they came out with the gambling rule, Article 21. And it states altering the outcome of the game, betting on the game, any way, shape, or form. Okay. It's huge in the clubhouse. It's the first thing you see when you walk into the clubhouse, and it's the whole word, Article 21, printed word for word. How many clubhouses did Pete Rose walk in and out of in his
Probably,
career?
probably over 30.
In his career of over, we played 25 years or something,
Right, but
26.
I'm talking, every different stadium.
Right, every
So
single day, every single day.
right, so he saw this over probably 4,000 times.
Oh, at least.
Hmm.
Plus, he managed and coached. So, I mean,
That's
I
right.
would say 10,000 or 20. But anyway, the thing that people don't know is opening day, the general manager sits the entire team down in the clubhouse, staff, trainers, everybody that's involved with the team, and translators, and reads Article 21 to the team word for word. So he saw that or read that and had it read to him every single season. And, you could be the greatest humanitarian in the world. And you go out and kill somebody, you should suffer the consequences.
Agreed.
I mean, should he be in the Hall of Fame for what he did playing? I mean, absolutely. But because of what he did, no, he doesn't. And then the dingling, fucking was it like 5-6 years ago? He tries to get reinstated, and they asked him if he still bets on baseball, and he says yes.
Like,
I just saw an autograph thing. Like somebody was selling an autograph baseball. Now he's signing them. Pete Rose. Sorry, I bet on games. And
yeah.
he's using that as his autograph. Fucking weird. He's a weird duck. When I met him one time, I was roaming around in Vegas. I think it was at the Bellagio or one of
Always
the.
in Vegas signing autographs.
But he just popped up. Like he just literally popped up and put a table in front of a random store with like his banner on the bottom of the table and was just selling autographs very, very randomly. Like he was not booked at this place, but at all.
That's weird.
Yeah, very, very strange.
And let me give you three guys who are in, and what do you think about these guys? Harold Baines. Was he a Hall of Fame or was he a compiler?
I didn't know enough about him to think he was a Hall of Famer.
Okay. Bill Mazeroski. Lifetime 260 batting average, played 17 years, barely got 2,000 hits. Good defensive second baseman. Is he a very good player or is he a Hall of Famer?
I don't think he's a Hall of Famer.
You don't think he's a Hall of Famer?
No.
Neither do I. And this is a guy who we always argue about, Scott Rowland.
I was surprised by that because, I mean, I used to call him Superman because he's just a great dude. But I think he was a above average player and an unbelievable defender, but I never viewed him as a Hall of Famer. Guys, there was certain guys that I played with that, you're like, yeah, dude, Hall of Famer, Maddox, Clavin, Dawson. I didn't really view Sandberg as much as being a Hall of Famer, but Tomey, without a doubt.
With 600 home runs.
Yeah, Piazza, Helton for sure, Larry Walker. I was kind of like, yeah, maybe. But then I look at the other side of the equation too, and I've had conversations with buddies like, Jimmy Rollins is on the ballot and Chase Utley, and I'm going, I just don't think those guys are Hall of Famers.
Jimmy Rollins? You don't think he should be, there's at least consideration there?
No, he's gotten votes, but I just I don't think he's a Hall of Famer in my book. He should
Wow.
get in.
Did you think Joe Mauer was the first ballot Hall of Famer?
No,
Just got in this year. And like,
no.
because I don't think his career is that much different than he's, maybe statistically a little bit better than Jorge Posada, but Posada didn't even get the three. He only got like 3%.
Oh
He was
yeah,
off in the first year.
yeah. It's kind of getting back to the whole few people that get to play in the big leagues and how many played 10 years or more. Somebody told me, they're like, dude, it's pretty cool that you're, at least on the Hall of Fame ballot. And I go, I was. I thought that was pretty sweet. Because I look back on it and I think, anybody that plays 10 years should be on the ballot at least, right? I mean, that's a pretty big accomplishment. So I call the Hall of Fame and I go, hey, I'd love to get a copy of that so I could frame it and put it in my house. I think it would be really cool. The guy says, yeah, okay, cool. I'll get back to you. He calls me about a week later. He's like, sorry, but you weren't on the ballot.
But
I mean,
before we stop talking baseball and get into what the show is supposed to be about, and then we'll let you go. You had a good major league career, man. You really did. You had an ERA of under 4. You were I remember just being a real solid relief pitcher, and you were knowing, like, you had personality. You were one of the personality of the game, jumping over the foul line and all the superstitions, I guess, that you did, that I read about. Like, I didn't know you brushed your teeth in between every inning, and the black licorice and all that other stuff, throwing down the rosin bag. Like, you were a personality of the game. People knew you. You made a name for yourself in this game.
well, and I got to the big leagues doing most of that stuff, but so I got to the big leagues in '93 and '94. That was me when I pitched with the black licorice and brushing my teeth. But the first spring training in '95, our manager Jim Riggleman pulled me aside after the very first practice and said, "I don't want you doing any of that stuff anymore." And I'm thinking, who's this guy? I don't even know him. He's just pissing on my parade on the first conversation I'm having with him. But that was kind of what put me in a comfort zone. It was my routine. And I just had to come up with a different routine. And so I played for the next 10 years and didn't do any of that stuff.
You didn't.
I did not brush my teeth and I did not chew black licorice.
But you had the big necklace on.
I started the necklace in '95, I think it was, '96, '95. But I remember in Chicago, I gave up a home run to some no-name guy that just got called up from the minor leagues because I didn't know him. And I'm just like, you know what? Just throw one in there and bam, dinger. And as he was circling the bases, I reached down and grabbed the rosin bag and I fucking fired it. And I'm just screaming at myself, get your head out of your ass, stay focused, stay aggressive. And that's where the rosin bag thing came in.
Fans love that because it shows passion. Because sometimes they think the argument is the fans seem to be more passionate about than the players. Like, you guys shake it off after a game. You got fans who still obsess upon it, and they'll remember where they were during the game, and it's just game number 129 out of 162.
Yeah.
My first memory of baseball, my uncle taking me to a Yankee game to see the Seattle Mariners, and we had great seats. And I remember the whole stadium booing, and I couldn't understand why they were booing when Alvin Davis got up to the bat. And then my uncle tells me he refused to go up to bat until they took his picture off the Jumbotron.
Wow, that's a name for Alvin Davis, first
Alvin
baseman of
Davis.
Mariners. Yeah.
That was my
So
first baseball memory.
So let's just talk to Turk about this before we let him go. And so far, thank you so much for everything. You're a big country music guy, right?
Yeah, I've got to know some guys.
Yeah, I was gonna say this is Sean's wheelhouse. Yeah.
Yeah.
Does any artist or band put you in the mood, get you fired up, before you played? And who were they?
Well, Garth, friend of mine,
Did
Steve
he come? Sorry, but did he come down to spring training when you were playing?
Yeah.
Didn't he do something like that? Could he
Yeah,
play?
he wasn't too bad. Yeah, he wasn't too bad. It was basically his fantasy camp. And Steve Warner's a good friend of mine too. But I've got to know some other country singers, Mark Chestnut, Toby Keith, um, oh shoot, Richie. I'm trying to think of the band, Lone Star. Um, but Steve Warner and I talk, at least a couple times a year. I've kind of lost touch with Garth, but I mean, just great people, great people. But as far as a country song put me in like some sort of jam mood, I don't know. I think the coolest thing about knowing those guys, mostly Steve, because I've known Steve since I was with the Cubs in 90, I think 93 maybe it was. I met his son Ross. He used to call himself Turk. Was just this cute little kid, like 7 years old, sitting outside the clubhouse. And I'm like, come on inside, kid. I'll take you around. Show him, got him something to drink, bunch of bubble gum, whatever, candy. And so we just became good friends ever since. But going and visiting with Steve and Karen, his wife, or they would come on, see us on the road. We'd be in the hotel rooms hanging out, talking. And I'm, so what are you working on now? And he would play me this song or sing me this song that he's working on. And it was so freaking cool to turn the radio on like 8 months later and Garth singing the song. Because Karen was like, oh, the long neck bottle. Yeah, you probably don't know country, but
I do.
So Sean's a big country guy.
Yeah, the song Long Neck Bottle Steve Warner wrote. And they gave it to he said, we make more money off of writing the songs than singing the songs.
Oh God, yeah.
And I don't know the venue. There's somewhere in New York City that some little honky tonk bar or something shit. But Steve was there, and I brought the two trainers with the Mets, who were country guys, to see him. And after the show, we went on this tour bus. And I told him, I said, hey, what are you working on? What do you got going in the works? And he was singing Nothing But the Taillights, which he gave to Clint Black. Mm-hmm. And I told those guys, I'm like, you guys, you're going to shit yourself when you hear the song on the radio like a year from now. And to me, that's just like one of the coolest things about knowing those guys.
I go on record all the time and say that right now, country is the absolute biggest genre in music. I don't think anything comes close to it right now.
But Sean, it's a different, and Turk, chime in on this as well. But it's a different type of country now than it was back in the 90s.
100%. But
I still listen to old country stations.
Oh, I listen to all. I listen. My mother raised me on country. I'm talking like old school shit, like Lefty Frizzell and shit like that. Like that's what I listened to growing up. But it goes back to the Caitlin Clark thing, because of guys like Garth. Young kids were going to see country and getting really, really into it. And he's one of those main guys who really influenced this whole generation of country music that's out now. So you're hearing more of a rock and Southern rock kind of edge to it.
Yeah, it's almost like a country rap, country rap too.
Sure, there's some of it, sure. But Garth changed the game in country music.
100%.
The one guy that I think's got some really awesome songs right now is Jelly Roll.
Oh, absolutely.
Killer.
What's that song? The Favor?
I need a favor.
Yeah, what a great song that is. When I heard it, I didn't even think it was him. I thought it was.
Well, and that's to me, that's the cool thing about country music. I mean, everyone laughs like, yeah, you play it backwards, you get your wife back, you get your car back, get your dog back. But it's a story. It tells a story. And some genres like heavy metal, you can't hear what they're singing. You can't hear the words. Some rap songs are so fast that you can't hear the songs, and some of them are just filthy disgusting too. But I don't know, I've always been a country guy. I like some rocks, I guess, old school rock stuff.
Some of the best concerts most memorable concerts in my life have been the country concerts. I've said it a dozen times. My first concert ever was Willie Nelson, Johnny Cash, Waylon Jennings, and the Stray Cats in 1983. That was my very, very first concert. But I've seen Toby Keith probably 6-7 times. Rowdiest crowds you can ever. I mean, I've been to death metal festivals, and these people were nowhere near as bad as Toby Keith fans. They were just rowdy as fuck. I'm a gigantic Chris Stapleton fan. I think he's the most important writer in music, all of music right now. And I think what Luke Combs is doing too is he's another one who's really, he's kind of like, I feel he's kind of this generation's Garth Brooks, because he is going to be inspiring a lot of these kids to pick up a guitar, pick up a pen, or just learn
Yeah.
a voice. He's to me is an
I
absolute,
like a lot of Blake Shelton songs too. I think he'd be a pretty cool guy to hang out with.
yeah. I would hang out with his wife personally, but I wouldn't really. I don't.
I'm not so. I don't. I like brunettes.
But you know what? Goth crossed over. Goth was one of those. He wasn't just playing on the country charts. He was played on the regular top
I think it
40
was, honestly, I think it was
stations as
Billy
well.
Ray. I think it was really Billy Ray Cyrus who kind of really did that monster breakover where they break your
Well,
heart. I think Garth just took it to the next
he
level.
did, but Friends in Low Place when that from the dance, for the
Oh, yeah.
very
The
the,
dance is
the
my favorite.
right now my theme song is I feel I'm too young to feel this damn old. That's probably like my anthem right
I
now.
definitely thought it was Raining Ben, but good.
You mentioned Willie Nelson this summer. Okay, Nelson's 90 years
I'm
old.
skipping the
So what
concert.
is it? 120?
Yeah, he is not. He is literally 90. He's touring. You know who's touring with him?
Bob Dylan and Robert Plant with Allison.
Exactly.
Guess who's going to
Holy
be home? Guess who's
shit.
going to be home on their couch in the air
Oh no,
conditioning?
I think this year I have to go to the Outlaw concert. That looks like
Well, if you
that's
go,
just too
I'll go
good.
with.
Yeah, I think I'm going, man. I've
I'm
just
not a
got.
big. I'm not a big concert guy.
You don't go to
We
concerts?
are. Yeah, we are.
I don't like big crowds and people smoking dope. And acting.
I kind of got that vibe from you. I kind of think you're like a John Deere rider, right? Like you just like drive around the,
Believe it.
yeah,
See,
exactly.
I didn't think that about Turk. I
You know,
thought you. Yeah, good.
a lot of people think I'm this crazy, just party animal kind of guy. I've never even taken a sip of alcohol in my entire life.
Yeah, I can't. Wow,
Never
wow.
a drug, never a cigarette, nothing. I just love life.
So what do you do, man? Like in Iowa, like I mean, it's. I mean, I don't know. It's it's
A
like
weird fucking state. Just say it. It's a weird fucking
well,
state. There's like 17 people in the whole state,
I've
and
been
one
in.
of them's a great basketball player.
I performed in Iowa once. I was in Iowa one time
Where,
at
Davenport or Des Moines?
Des Moines. Okay, it was just outside Des Moines. I remember that being the big city.
Clive
Um,
or Des Moines?
but even when you don't know, Turk, I also for 19 years toured with bands. I did 4 tours with the Stones, 2 with Springsteen, and I finished up in 2002 with Journey. Okay, and I don't even ever remember Iowa except for one time. Um, but I've always been a city guy. So what's life like out there for you?
Nice and relaxing. I've got a little farm. I just put a fence around my garden this year. Just always outside working, building chicken coops, chicken runs, planting corn, harvesting corn, deer hunting. We have my buddies have cows. We slaughter like 10 or 12 cows every year, so that we have meat. Do a lot of deer hunting, canned vegetables. I got like 25 chickens, so we get about a couple dozen eggs every day. It's just simple life, peaceful, calm, relaxing.
Oh
You
no,
know
I'm
what?
fucking hungry
You want to know something though? He's sure, but he's winning, and here's the reason why. You know what he's not doing? He's not stressing out over dumb cable news. He's not getting caught up in all the nonsense that's going on in the world. And like you said, you're living life and you're outdoors and you have value.
Did you know that was my first pick for college, actually? That was my first choice for college. I wanted to go there really, really bad because I, even at a young age, I thought it was just so different from where we are, Jeff. You know?
It is,
Yeah.
but I respect the life.
I do too. I do
I've
too.
always wanted to do something like
Well,
that.
I mean, some of my buddies are like, dude, you got to figure it out. But if push comes to shove, I can survive on my own. Other than getting milk or going to get orange juice and shit like that. But I could get some dairy cows and milk cows every day too, and get milk and butter and whatever else I need like that.
Do you miss
But
big city living at all, or miss any of the amenities of the big cities?
I like sushi.
That's the thing.
I mean,
I'm
there's
thinking the
some
convenience of
nice
things, of staying
restaurants
open late,
and
which
stuff.
you don't see as much anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, here in Iowa is a lot different than when I was in Colorado. I mean, my kids drove 52 miles one way to go to school every day in Colorado. And
It's insane.
here, if I want to go into Des Moines, it takes me 25 minutes to get in there. Out in Colorado, it was 35 minutes to a store or a gas
Yeah.
station.
No,
Jeff, can we work on a show in Iowa so we can hang out with Turk? I think he's my new best friend. I really do. This is
You
a,
all more than welcome to come hang out. I mean,
listen, even
it's a
for
good-
a guy, this is the first former Met that I actually enjoyed talking to on this podcast.
Look, he's a
have
real.
you ever shot any guns?
You know, I've
Yes.
never shot a gun in my life.
Yes,
Dude, I'm telling you right now, shooting a gun is fucking so much fun.
it's great.
And then take it up a notch when you blow shit up. Yeah, we got these targets. I've blown up toilets, refrigerators, TVs, cars, microwaves. It's a blast. I mean, it's just good, clean fun.
Now I go to the range and I shoot, and I always say, why am I not doing more of this?
Yeah, it's fun. I mean, it's just, I don't know. It's just something exhilarating about it. That's just freaking fun.
Have you ever killed a man, Turk?
Is this being recorded?
No one listens to the show.
Allegedly or no? No, I've never killed it.
Hey, do you
That
like
I
the
know of.
Turk? Do you like doing the fantasy camps?
Love it. I mean, dude, did you see me coach?
Yeah, I thought I had great coaches, but if I wasn't,
Who was your coaches again?
I had KB and I had Pulsifer.
Oh yeah, they're good dudes.
Pulsifer to me
Yeah.
was fucking phenomenal guy. What a great guy he was. He was a great hang. He really gave a shit. I also thought Figueroa was a very good coach. He really helped me out a lot too.
Yeah.
Traxel was, we spoke about before, was a great hang in the bar, like at night. That was always a good time to speak to him.
And then you can tell there's some guys that are just there to be there that don't give a shit. But I like to interact.
I didn't bring up Barry Lyons' name. This year, I thought he seemed like a nice guy, but he seemed very quiet. It was Glendon Rush. It was his first time doing it.
G Rush is hysterical. You got to have him on the show. He's fucking awesome.
Did he play for the Mets?
Yeah, he's Mets.
Fuck, man. Can you at least give me a Yankee next one?
Dude, G Rush was the
Homer.
guy. Glendon was the guy pitching when Clemens hit Piazza in the head, and then he freaking hit Tino Martinez with an 86-mile-an-hour fastball in the ass. Like that's gonna do anything.
Oh, that's it. I'm getting him on the show.
Yeah, Glendon's dude. He's funny. He's really witty. He's got a lot of good comedy shit. Yeah,
He was cool.
he actually is good buddies with Bill Murray.
Is he?
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll reach out to him. But listen, man, I just want to thank you so much for coming on. This was great. I mean, we could have spoke to you for another 2 hours easily.
I enjoy doing shit like this. It's all good.
Yeah, we do appreciate it. And I have been training since November, trying to get myself back in better shape, and I'm going to play some baseball over the
First of all,
summer.
round is a shape.
Thank you.
Yeah. And
Jeff's
then
a
second
stocky
of all,
fucker. Like you don't realize it sometimes. But when you see him in person, he's like you're not a small dude. No, I mean that in a good way. I mean, like you're kind of jacked.
Yeah, well, I go to the gym, I lift still, I'm not. The thing about baseball fantasy camp is like I hadn't played baseball since probably the first term Reagan. Okay. And I really didn't practice much. But when I played as a kid, I was like, I still got it. I went there, man. I was just so fucking out of shape and out of it. And like baseball
like
shape too.
95% of the guys there.
Yeah.
I always joke around. I'm like, gentlemen, you can't make chicken salad out of chicken shit. All right.
I can imagine
care.
what goes on. Give me one thing that goes on when you guys do that draft.
Nobody wants Ed Moore. Well, I mean, the key to trying to have a good team is, well, this year was a little different anyway, because you just drafted team. We picked teams we made teams, and then you just got whatever team you got. to have good teams is just trying not to have too many automatic outs in your lineup.
Okay, right.
You know, like the Wendy Shotskis. I mean, Wendy's awesome, but she can barely ever hit the ball past the pitcher.
Was that the girl who fell in week 1 and broke her wrist?
Yes.
Yeah. She fell in week 1. I don't know why I find it funny. I do.
No, it is. Dude, some guys fucking in the little evaluations. One dude was trying to catch a fly ball, shattered his eye socket. Didn't even get to do anything.
I love the evaluation because it's like I'm in the outfield and Mookie Wilson, who I love, 86 Mets, and he's hitting like fungo to you. Like he's hitting high pop. I was like, holy shit! Like this was so much fun. It was such a good time. But I got because I watched. There was a guy on my team. Do you remember there was a guy? Larry, 74 years old. He pitched. He caught.
Oh yeah. Great
Yeah,
guy.
yeah. Sean, 74 years old. He would catch 7 innings. He pitched when he didn't when he wasn't catching. I mean, it was great. Turtle, another guy who's had multiple
Was
surgeries.
Willie there? You were there?
Who's
old
that?
Old guy Willie. He's like 83.
No, I was there.
Second baseman. He's freaking pretty good too.
No, I was there week 2. One of my good friends, Tom Borowski. Do you know him, Tom? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He's the one that got me in. And the only reason I went is because it was a birthday gift for my wife. She knows I'm a big baseball fan. I love the Mets. And she's
So
like,
you're going back?
Oh, I'm definitely going back.
You're not doing the spring camp, the Syracuse camp?
Well, the thing is, I'm a comic, and in the spring right now, I am basically
Booked
on tour every weekend.
It's not a fucking tour. It's not
I
a tour. You go from Staten Island to Pennsylvania, and then you go back to Staten Island. That ain't a fucking
Oh
tour.
wait, so when I'm in Sedona, that doesn't count. You're so stupid.
How many shows?
With your dumb peanut head.
How many shows?
Yeah, I would have to side with you. A tour is like you're going to England, then you go over to France, then you go to Italy, and then you go to Spain, then you go to
listen, man, I'm not Nate Bargatze.
He drove
all right,
through New Jersey to get to Pennsylvania, Turk. So
I'm not Nate Bargatze, but I'm in multiple states every fucking weekend. Okay, every month.
And then you come home. A tour is multiple weeks.
When I'm in Ohio, I'm coming home. Okay, I'm coming home when I'm in Ohio.
It's a road gig. It's not a tour. What is wrong with you?
I hate you. Remember when we talked about? It
sounds better when it's a tour.
Yeah. Remember when we talked about teammates that you hate? Okay. Co-hosts that I hate.
Because I say it like it is and I call bullshit when
you're so you know what it is? He's God bless Sean. He has lost probably 110 pounds.
No,
okay?
200 actually, asshole.
Shit.
No,
awesome.
Really. I hate to say it, but he looks good and looks healthy, and that just gets me pissed off. No, you but the thing is, you're angry all the time because you're hungry all the time.
Yeah.
Yes.
He said he was hungry earlier. I was talking about.
I had a huge dinner an hour before. I'm fucking starving again.
But listen, man, thank you so much for doing this. Like I said,
a lot of fun.
It was really like all our pleasure.
Let me know. I enjoyed myself.
Turk, so thank you so much. Is there anything that you got that we can plug for you? Anything we can do? No book or anything coming out?
Tom actually talked to me about writing a book.
Well, he wrote Lenny's book, and that book was like a bestseller.
Yeah. So I don't know. I can't. We threw it around a little bit and did some groundwork on it, but I always just think guys that write books about themselves dig themselves. I mean, who the fuck cares what I have to say?
Jeff, when's your autobiography coming out?
I would buy his book, and here's the reason why: because he had a 12-year career, played on 2 of the most important Mets seasons, 99 and 2000. Okay, and you were a personality of the game. I mean, I read Bill Lee's book. He was a personality of the game. He was an interesting guy. You're an interesting guy. Interesting guy should write an interesting book. It doesn't have to be this long tome.
Stay thirsty, my friends.
You're not that interesting. I've had enough with the 2 of you. All right. Turk, I will see you in Met Baseball Fantasy Camp if I don't see you before that, because I will be in some.
You will not see me there this year.
Get the why?
Because it's the wrong time of the year. The only time I did last year is buddies that come here to hunt. They didn't draw a tag.
You're not going in November?
No.
Oh,
No,
no way.
yeah, Doug's pretty pissed about it, but I go, dude, guys wait 5, 6 years to come out here and hunt with me. I can't just say fucking here's the stands, go have fun.
Will you do any of the TNT camps?
No, I won't be able to do the TNT one probably this year either, and because of getting ready for hunting and guys coming out. It's always the wrong time. When Doug moved the camps, it used to be the end of January. And that was freaking awesome. It was perfect time. Everyone wanted to get out of the Northeast anyway and go fucking sit in Florida for a week or two. It was perfect. And then they changed it.
Yeah,
And as soon
November.
as they did that, I told Doug, I go, I'm done. Can't do it. Fuck, you got to do it. You're one of the best coaches. So he always has me do the mini camps in April and in St. Lucie.
Yep.
And maybe going to London too this summer.
Well, listen, man, safe travels. I hope to see you soon. And if not, we'll stay in touch. And, thank you so much for coming up and doing the show, man. Really appreciate it.
My pleasure. It was fun, guys. Take care of
Great
yourselves.
stuff. All right. Take care, Turk.
Bye.
Folks, Turk Wendell, please subscribe and listen. Yes. He's just spinning around and everything. Take care, everybody. Jeffrey Paul.